Hey, everybody, I'm back and a little bit more awake than I was before. Took a cup of coffee and we're going to figure out how to create this message and send it to sockets. So I think the first thing I need to do is just think about this. Remember, we're going to want to send a message. We're going to want to emit a message with the new chat message from our client. So I'll enter in a message here. Submit button will include it. And I should probably send my ID. And I should probably send the time of the message and maybe a message ID. So let's actually change this function here. We're going to change this from create message to add message to div. Actually, we'll keep this create message, but this function here is really going to be like add message to div. And when we create a message, what we're going to do is, and here we can change this message text to message. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a message back from the socket server, and we're going to add it to the div only at that point, I think. But we'll get to that in a sec. So first we're going to create a message. And in this case, our message is going to be a data object. And so we'll say const message equals a data object. And why don't we call it user ID socket dot ID. And so that socket ID is going to come from this socket here. An ID will get assigned to that when it connects. So we'll have socket ID. We'll say message text is going to be message text. Remember to bring that in to our function from here. Message text, and we'll say time created is going to be, and so we could, if we were using P5, we would say something like millis, right? But I think what we want, we're not going to be in the P5 scope here in this document. So I think what we want to use is the date object. And we'll look this up at MDN. And what we want to get is, I think, date.now. Returns the numeric value corresponding to the current time, the number of milliseconds elapsed since January 1st, 1970, with leap seconds ignored. So instead of millis, and millis is basically the same thing, just a wrapper for date.now. And so now we'll have this message, and we can say socket dot emit new message. And so now we've made this message and we're emitting it to the socket. This add message to div, we'll hold on to that for now and come back to that. Right now what we're going to do is we are going to go to server file and we're going to listen for that message. So then we'll have this other message here. Let's say on new message. So we'll say socket dot on new message. We will take in the message and we'll do some stuff with it. I think we'll want to update the player. I think we're going to want to put those messages in our player, but maybe we don't need to. Maybe we'll just instead make a new I'm just going to use an array for these messages. So we'll have this array of messages, and we will add our messages to that. So when we do here, when we get a new message, we'll say messages dot push message. And we might need to do some stuff later if we end up getting duplicate messages or whatever. We might need to play with this later, but then we can say socket dot broadcast dot emits. And that's going to send this to everybody. And so this will be add, let's see, we'll call this add message. And we'll send the entire array of messages. So that way whenever a new message comes in, we'll get all those messages. And I think this is going to break down pretty fast here. We're going to need to think about how to filter these messages, but up here I can say socket dot on add message. And it's probably not a very good name, and we'll say take in message, and we'll say messages. Let's say, actually, I have a better idea. We'll call this update messages. It's going to be the name of the thing we're listening for. And so that'll be update messages. It's going to send all the messages. And those messages are going to come in. We're going to say messages dot for each message. For each message, let's add message to div message. Okay. And again, we're going to have to come back and fix some of these problems in a second, but I'm going to do that in a different video. And we'll say, let's call this chat. Add message to chat. And message. And so now we can still use that same function to generate our div. And let's see if it works. Node server.js. Server's running. Localhost 7000. Let's enter a new message. Hi there. Submit event happened. Now let's just see what broke. So submit event happened at 1:16. E.target.value create message, message text. And now we socket.emit new message. And let's just see where that went. So new message came in here. And let's just console.log message. Just to see if that's coming in. And here we are. I'm going to connect my browser. And I'll say hi there. Okay, submit event happened. My message came in. There's my user ID and my time created and my message. Now, why is that update messages? Is that coming back in? Update messages. So now back in the client, we can say console.log messages. And I'll just refresh my browser and I'll say hi there. Again. And now here's my messages. And you can see it didn't come back in the client. Update messages, socket.on, update messages, messages. Update messages. Oh, wait. Did I not? That's funny. Oh, there it is. Socket.broadcast.emit. Update messages, messages. Huh. Well, maybe I have to come back in the next video with the answer to why this emit message isn't happening. Maybe I forgot to start the server. Let me try that again. We'll restart the server. And then come in here and say, hi. There's that. There's that. Socket.broadcast.emit update messages is not occurring. Update messages. All right, well, that didn't work. We'll come back in the next